This is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will have our discussion on the dispositor of Ketu. Now as you know that anything connected with your past that has to be decoded through Ketu, your spiritual potential, the power of your intuition, all of that is somehow connected with Ketu. Like friends, so many times it happens where like the humanity has witnessed people who have demonstrated some supernatural talents. I always give the example of people like Srinivasa Ramanujam, or this could be like people like Baba Vanga. So there must be something in their chart that they were perfectly in harmony, in alignment with the cosmos. They have had this capacity to foresee things which other people cannot see. Along with that, friends, when we talk about people who are the chosen one, I was just completing my this documentary series on the Disney platform, over where in the National Geographic there has been a documentary in the life of the Genghis Khan. And at a time when he was born with a thick clot of blood in his hand, and a shaman made this prophecy that in this lifetime he will be responsible for the bloodshed of hundreds and thousands of the people. So those kind of events where nature somehow is giving you a telltale signs can be attached with Ketu. See, nature is always trying to give us the signs, but only people who have a strong Ketu, they can read it. That is the only reason people who become like clairvoyant, mediums, healers, Reiki healer and therapist, people who become like shaman, they all are being ruled by the Ketu. And for example, friends, couple of months back, when this incident happened in India, where this flight like crashed. So there was just one survivor in that flight, and it was very difficult to explain that how can that person survive such a mega crash. So that means whether nature is working in harmony with you or whether nature is in itself against you, the whole circumstances are against you, all of that is somehow is being looked at from Ketu's strength in the chart. Like the way, friends, in my case, I always say that I keep on seeing a lot of the dreams. And that is the only reason I have also bought one book from the Amazon, which is about the interpretation of the meaning of the different dreams. Like for example, even yesterday, like I am recording this video on a Thursday. So like Wednesday night in the sleep, early morning, I saw this dream that we are in a bus and we have to start giving the Annadan, like food distribution as a donation, and someone is telling me that hey, please recite the Annapurna Stotram. I was like, okay, I'm opening up the phone and I'm not able to type it clearly, or not being able to see it so that I can look at it and recite it. So I just got that as a message from the cosmos. So in my morning prayers today, because obviously they're like list of mantras, how many you can recite in your daily prayers. So I ensure to do this as a part of the recitation, and now it's in my to-do list that I know some McDonald's and cafes outside of which I can find a homeless person to feed him. So this is what I say, that Ketu is all about living in synchronicity with the nature. Nature is always giving you signals, always giving you signs. I always say, friends, people in whose case you will find their trine house to be empowered, and Ketu, Rahu Ketu axis to be in a strengthened state. These are those people that the flow of the life in itself is always harmonious for them. These are those people, they don't have to plan, they don't have to worry. Whenever the right time comes, right set of people start getting aligned with them, opportunity comes, they have access to resources and things happen. Life moves very smooth. So that is one of the byproduct of like having a strengthened trine house where the divinity look after you, and strong Rahu Ketu axis, like nature looks after you. Now friends, when we talk about today's discussion, it has more to do with the dispositor of the Ketu. I always say when it comes down to Rahu Ketu, if you do the interpretation only via looking at, you read somewhere Rahu in the third house is strong, You saw that in your chart and you are happy, you started celebrating. You read somewhere that Ketu in the 12th house is considered as very strong. You started jumping and celebrating. No, what matters is that their dispositor, because it's the dispositor only who will be pulling the strings behind the scene. So all the qualities of the Ketu which I have talked about. So if all of that is getting verified in your case, like your Ketu is placed in the 9th house, in the 12th house, your Ketu is placed in the Jupiterian signs. So all of that is just telling about that Jupiter is strengthened. But that strength of the Ketu, will this work in your favor or will this work against you? That is a verdict which is being looked after by its dispositor. Because friends, if a positive Ketu, a strengthened, dignified Ketu can actually make you the chosen one, you will be favored by the destiny and the life circumstances. A malefic Ketu, people who become a victim of the animal attacks, people who become stranded in natural calamity and the disaster kind of situation, and like in all those situations where you will witness major life transformation in a very small span of time. Like imagine, see, this has not been the culture so far when I was in the corporate world in India, but I see like even in West, people who are in the top level management, sometimes they go to work and they were being called to the HR, and then and there only they were being informed that you are being fired today, and these people are not being even allowed to go back to their workstation. Okay, you can straight away go to the reception and you will get your stuff there, you can collect it from there. So that kind of big transformation in a very small span of time, with one strike, 1 week, completely ruined or changed your life. That again is Ketu. So understanding Ketu in your chart, knowing Ketu in your chart becomes very important. That always reminds me of a story. See, I do not know whether to put this person in a lucky category or unlucky category. They say that when America dropped the first bomb in Japan, so there was this guy, he was there, and obviously somehow he escaped, but he had some injuries, and out of nowhere after Hiroshima, just in order to save himself, the place which he chosen for himself was Nagasaki, and America dropped another bomb there. So imagine, some people say that he's lucky that he survived 2 atom bombs, and some people say that he's not lucky. So that is something which I will leave up to you to decide. So yes friends, after this, now we will switch to the narration part, and we will try to understand or decode Ketu's placement or Ketu's dispositor placement in all the houses and all the relevant information which is important for you to judge the true strength, the true face of Ketu in your life. So friends, in advanced Jyotish, Ketu never works alone. We know that Ketu is headless, so the pure memory is always without desire, wisdom without hunger, and detachment without any direction. But its dispositor becomes the manager of the past life karma. In all these areas, it's the dispositor which pulls the string. So if Rahu shows what you crave, Ketu shows what you have already mastered and must now release. But how that mastery unfolds in this life depends almost entirely on where Ketu's dispositor sits. So Ketu is equivalent to your stored karma. Dispositor tells about the delivery mechanism, and its house, Ketu's dispositor house, tells about life department where karma ripens. So friends, the classical foundation on this is Ketu's karmic authority is repeatedly affirmed across the classical books. For example, in the Brihad Parashara Hura Shastra, it has been explained that Ketu acts as a moksha-karaka, giver of past life results when associated with spiritual or Dushtana Lord. Now, I have mentioned here Dushtana Lord. You will get to know about it. Fal Deepika. So Fal Deepika says that nodes delivering stored karma through their lords. Brihad Samhita says nodal affliction and karmic disturbances tied to unseen causes. Gemini Sutras say karma unfolds through sign lords rather than the planets alone. And Nadi Jyotish says Ketu as completed karma. Its dispositor shows where the soul exits old cycles. So the conclusion from the classics is Ketu gives the past, the dispositor decides the stage. And the spiritual and the Puranic context of Ketu, we all know that in the Puranic lore, Ketu is the headless body of the Swarbhanu, demon Swarbhanu, whose head was severed during the Samudra Manthan. So symbolically, Rahu represents the head that drinks desire, and Ketu represents the body which remembers the liberation. So Ketu therefore does not seek, does not plan, does not build, only dissolves. Its dispositor determines what dissolves easily, what dissolves painfully, what transforms into wisdom. So friends, when you are assessing Ketu's dispositor, so for the accurate interpretation, it always has to be assessed on the basis of the strength of the dispositor, like whether Ketu's dispositor is placed in its own sign, it is exalted, it is debilitated, or it is combust. Its house placement talks about, like for example, if it is placed in a dharma triangle, first house, fifth house, ninth house, artha triangle, second house, sixth house, 10th house, kama triangle, third house, seventh house, 11th house, or the moksha triangle, like 4th house, 8th house, 12th house. Association of Ketu's dispositor, like is it like associated, conjunct with Saturn or with Jupiter, because that will enhance the karmic seriousness. And obviously you have to see D9 chart and the D60 chart for the confirmation as well, which is very mandatory whenever it comes down to the past life. So okay friends, now we will start studying Ketu's dispositor's placement in different houses. Now let's say for example, if the Ketu's dispositor in your chart is placed in the first house, now that tells about the soul's identity. Like if Ketu's dispositor is in the first house, your past life spiritual mastery is meant to be integrated into your personality. You may have a mysterious or old soul aura. A lot of the times it has been seen people who have Ketu being placed in the first house or its dispositor placed in the first house. They always get the hint, like majority of the decision which have significantly shaped up their life has been taken instinctively rather than putting and applying logic over there. And if I were to talk about the karma, so it talks about issues with the self-image or the ego. And the blessing, if Ketu's dispositor is in the first house, the blessing comes in the form of deep intuitive wisdom and the ability to reinvent yourself after personal crisis. So friends, you have to understand that with this kind of placement, what do you get to know about the past life? If only I were to look at Ketu's dispositor being there in the first house. So the past life could be giving us this hint that you might be a renunciate in the past life. You might be a warrior in the past life. You might be a yogi in the past life, or could be an isolated leader. When we talk about the theme, so see, with this kind of placement, it has this potential and capacity for complete identity dissolution, because whatever and whichever plane Ketu works, it has the capacity to completely dissolve things. So, and when we talk about the blessing, so the blessing comes in the form of natural detachment and a very strong spiritual authority. Like people who have this capacity that their life can undergo major changes, like people who have been a meat eater, and once they transition into a specific faith which promotes staying vegetarian, so they can adapt their life through this. So that capacity is possible if the dispositor of Ketu is there in the first house. Now when we talk about the obstacle, so if Ketu's dispositor is placed in the first house, so health sensitivity, like alienation. See, a lot of the times you would have seen like people who become a therapist or Reiki healer, energy healer, like a lot of the times when they have to deal with the clients with heavy karmic baggage. So when they are working and operating on these kind of lines, there is always a chances of their energy getting disimbalanced because of them. And I guess that is the only reason in majority of the energy healing centers and the energy healing session, there is a concept of the cord cutting after the energy session. It is done only because of these reasons, so that the person who has come to you with any of the uh, like energy imbalance situation, it should not get transferred to you, it should not affect you. But yes friends, this is a very strong placement, and it has got this capacity where we say that something major was about to happen, and somehow you escaped that situation at the 11th hour, at the last minute. You got that hint at the last minute. We say people who are like very good in reading and decoding omens, shakuns. So this could be a case if you have Ketu's dispositor in the first house. Now friends, moving ahead. Now let's say for example, if Ketu's dispositor is placed in the second house. Now this is the house of the ancestral roots and the values. The focus is on the family lineage and the speech. You may have been a scholar or a wealthy person who renounced everything in the past life. Now the karma for you is fluctuating finances or feeling like an outsider in your family. And when we talk about the blessing, the gift of the gab, or we say the Saraswati gift, words that heal or carry profound truth. That is the kind of potential which you have. So friends, like if we have to look at it on the basis of like decoding your past life, or the specific blessing, obstacle, or the Puranic echo, or the lessons for you. So this placement of Ketu's dispositor talks about like in the past life you might be an ascetic who renounced the family, or there might be a lineage bound wealth karma. We say it like that. Like a lot of the times it has been seen there where at the time of the need, money got arranged from unknown circumstances, from unusual, through unusual ways. That could be the beauty of Ketu's dispositor being placed in the second house. And also friends, depending on the nature of the planet, like for example, if you're like Ketu's dispositor, if it's a benefic planet like Mercury, Moon, or this could be like Jupiter, Venus, so definitely you will have that Saraswati in your speech. And let's say for example, if it is something to do with the planet Mars, then it would have something to say that where unconsciously you have, or you feel that you have a claim over the inheritance, over a family estate. So all of that comes very natural. Now when we talk about the blessing of this placement of Ketu's dispositor, somehow in the higher domain it talks about the non-attachment to money. When we talk about the obstacle, there might be a disconnect with the family, or in certain cases there could be issues with the speech as well. Now when we talk about the Puranic echo, so this generally talks about like even from the past lifetime, we say that in the Puranas it has been explained as the forest dwellers and the renounced kings who have, after like achieving many and major things, a stage comes when the illumination happens, liberation or enlightenment happens. So the first impact of that is they renounce everything. So that potential and capacity is attached with this placement. Again friends, the way we say that like in our chart, if there is one placement which talks about, which deals with enlightenment, elevated state of consciousness, so now comes the question that if that has happened to you, what is going to be the immediate reaction of yours? Like for example, I still remember there was this case study I heard in one of the lecture of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan faculty, and he was talking about, it was a real life case study, that there was this person, very strong candidate for like passing the top bureaucracy exams in India, like UPSC exams, IAS exam. And when he passed that exam and he was selected for the services, and he was scheduled to go for the foundation course, I guess that happens in the hills of the Uttarakhand in Mussoorie in the LBS Academy. So just before that, he somehow scheduled a visit to the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, so that just to get the blessing of the Shiva. See, this might be the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, or this was Kedarnath Yatra. So friends, don't quote me on this. It's been long time back when I heard that story. But all, like, cut short, what happened? He had certain mystical experience over there, and they say that he did not come back. He just became a monk, and he had some epiphany, awakening kind of experience. So I'm saying that if Ketu's placement in your chart is giving information about the enlightenment will happen, illumination will happen, epiphany will happen, how you will react to that, how your life will react to that. Is it like that you will become a leader and start giving sermon? Is it like you will leave your family, you will leave your job? That we get to know from the Ketu's dispositor placement. Like whatever Ketu will give you, your first reaction to that, how your life will respond to that. So if your Ketu's dispositor is in the second house, this tells about that in the Puranas it has been explained as the forest dwellers or the renounced king. And the lesson is wealth must serve the dharma. Now friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor's placement in the third house, now this talks about the hands of the healer. Like this placement links your past life skills to communication and courage. Like the karma for you is strained relations with siblings or a tendency to be overly quiet. And the blessing for you is there might be exceptional writing or manual skills like surgery, or this could be art, that feel downloaded from another lifetime. People who tend to remain very gifted. And friends, if you have to connect it with the past life, with Ketu's dispositor's placement, so this talks about, like, in the past life the person could be a messenger, a warrior, the person could be a spy. When we talk about the blessing, this placement has a blessing of the fearless action without attachment. Like a lot of the times where people go with the flow. See, this is one such kind of placement which talks more about that you by yourself do not create any impediments in the free flow of the life. You have this capacity to be a part of the flow of the life. I always say Ketu's placement will talk about enlightenment, supernatural talents, your intuitive faculties, but how you respond to that. Like whenever any intuitive download has happened to you, how you will first respond to that. That we will get to know from the dispositor's placement, which in your case is in the third house. So these are those people, in their case, if the Ketu is in a strong dignity, dispositor is well placed, their life moves on with effortless kind of situation. There is a very famous quote by that Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, Wu Wei, that effortless action. This talks about that. The obstacle with this placement is there might have been concerns of burnout, working hard too much till the stage of the burnout, and there might have been concerns of estranged siblings as well. The spiritual angle with this placement is karma dissolves through right effort. Now friends, if your Ketu's dispositor is going to be placed in the fourth house, it talks about that your past life energy is directed towards home and the mother. Like the karma with this placement is about feeling homeless even in your own house, emotional distance from the mother, and the blessing comes in a form of sudden spiritual epiphanies during meditation or while living near water. Now when we talk about how can you connect this with the past life, so this generally talks about like the life of a monk, of a wanderer, uprooted soul. Here I'm talking more about the past life. The blessing with this placement is of the inner silence. The obstacle which the native might have to face is of the emotional emptiness and lack of belongingness. And friends, the classical insight on this placement is that moksha through inner detachment, and like moksha which comes through, or being headed in the path of the moksha through inner detachment, like not through comfort. Now friends, when we talk about if your Ketu's dispositor is going to be placed in the fifth house, now we know that anything connected with trine house is considered as very blessed. Ketu which has to do with the past. Fifth house, which also talks about the Pur Punya. So this could be seen as a placement. Like Ketu's dispositor's placement in the fifth house could be seen as the intuitive genius. Like this is the house of the Pur Punya, past life credit. The karma is about delays or unusual experiences regarding children and in romance. The blessing comes to you in a form of a genius level of intuition. You understand complex subjects like astrology or physics without any formal training. It is flowing in from the past. And also, talking about your past life, you might have or might have been holding some scholarly position. You might be working as a priest or someone who has got good knowledge of the mantras. Your blessing is intuitive wisdom, mantra siddhi. Friends, I always say this thing that if you actually want to make someone go through a major transition, or if you actually want to understand how a person's life will turn out to be, all what you have to check is the thought process, the mental setup of a person. And fifth house somehow governs our thought process. So that means, again friends, try to connect the dot. Simply put, if Ketu talks about the enlightenment, Ketu talks about the intuitive faculties, the immediate impact of that, where it influences you most. So that influences you in the form of your thought process. Like these could be those people, like in whose case they have this capacity to sense things, sense the flow of the life, sense the trends, and adapt their thought process accordingly. And in a way, nature, cosmos is playing a part in instilling the right thought process in their life. So, friends, and there is also a capacity, like there has been that story of the Tulsi Das ji. Like there was a time when he was so much like attached to his wife, that in one instance when the wife she traveled to her parents' house, he even was so mesmerized by the presence and by the beauty of his wife. He even crossed the ocean, he even climbed the tree just to have a look on his wife's face. And then the wife actually kind of rebucked him that the kind of attachment you have to my physical body, if you would have been having the similar attachment to the Lord Rama, it would have given you the moksha or the enlightenment. So that actually changed his mental state. So that is the kind of potential this placement holds. So friends, if you have to understand Ketu's dispositor's placement in the fifth house, it talks about karma through intelligence and mantra. In the past life, the native could be a scholar, a priest. The blessing comes through intuitive wisdom, a mantra siddhi. Obstacle could be detachment from the romance, a romantic partner or children. And the Nadi view on this is Pur Punya nearing completion. Now friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor being in the sixth house, this is the placement of the silent warrior. Like your karma is settled through service and healing. Now karma is about mysterious health issues that doctors cannot explain, like which is often very karmic in nature. Like you might have to go to a shaman or a faith healer to find a solution to any of the ongoing problem. The blessing comes in the form of victory over enemies without fighting. People who try to harm you often face their own karma instead. Friends, see, if I were to connect all other verticals with this placement, so what do we get to know about the past life? It talks about in the past life, the native could be a healer, servant, or karmic fighters. See, in certain cases I've also seen, like even in India, there is one lawyer who fought for one of the land. I guess his name is Advocate Vishnu Jain or something. So like those people who are being chosen for a fight for the divine laws, for we say that installing the righteousness in the society. So this could be such placement. And if this person, if he knows how to put up a fight for the rightful reasons, just reasons, the whole cosmos come to this person's aid. This person becomes invincible because he is supported by the omens, by the cosmos, by the nature. So friends, if I were to summarize, Ketu's dispositor's placement in the sixth house talks about the past life. Native might be a healer, karmic fighter. blessing comes in a form of victory over enemies and awareness of the diseases. The obstacle comes in a form of the chronic health theme, and the spiritual key with this placement is liberation through seva. Now friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor's placement in the 7th house, so this is a placement which talks about the mirror of relationship. This is a difficult but very transformative placement for the partnership. Like the karma which will be witnessed is in the form of feeling lonely while in a relationship or attracting very karmic partners. The blessing comes in a form of developing unconditional love that does not depend on the other person's validation. So friends, if I were to connect all other verticals with this placement, so it talks about in the past life there might have been marital exhaustion or relational debts. The blessing come in the form of freedom from dependency. Obstacle comes in a form of detachment in the marriage. And the Puranic parallel, like if I were to give a synchronicity with the Puranic mention with this placement, it tells more about like sage spouses, like being with someone who has a sage saintly mindset, people who become like a renunciate. The truth of this placement is that relationships are contracts, they are not the destination. Now friends, if your Ketu's dispositor is placed in the 8th house, this is the occult master kind of placement. This is one of the most powerful placement for mysticism. Like the karma is about sudden upheavals or ego death. Blessing comes in a form of mastery over the occult, deep research, and the ability to guide others through their darkest times. And we generally say, like in the past life, native could be an occultist, tantric, survivor of any catastrophic event. The blessing comes in a form of fearlessness of endings. Like this is going to be a very fearless person. The obstacle could be felt in a form of sudden losses. This placement somehow holds strong moksha potential. Like in the classics, it has been explained as strong indicator of past life liberation attempts. You might be already undergoing some siddhi sadhana in the pursuit of the ultimate liberation. Now friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor being placed in the 9th house, it talks more about the dharma wanderer. Like your past life wisdom is tied to religion, law, and the father. Like karma is about disillusionment with organized religion, or this could be distant relation with the father. The blessing comes in a form of direct access to higher truths without the need for a middleman or guru. And friends, if I were to connect it with the past life, this talks about like someone who could be a saint, a teacher, a pilgrim. The blessing comes in the form of the natural faith. Like obstacle could be disillusionment with the dogma, and the spiritual role is redefine dharma beyond belief system. Friends, see, there are like two category of people. One category of people which is very faith driven. Before undertaking any task, they want to be assured that the cosmos and nature is completely in synchronicity, in harmony with their task. They visit a knowledgeable, scholarly astrologer, find a proper muhurat, and initiate the task as per the muhurat. So that is one category. And there is another category that they don't even have to check the muhurat. Somehow in their subconsciousness or life put them in such a situations that they always do their task in perfect harmonious time periods. Like after, if they will do a proper retrospection of all the dates on which majority of the events were initiated by them in their life, they will find that majority of those tasks were in perfect harmony with the muhurat. So that means nature, cosmos is by itself taking care of them. And we generally say that any alignment of the 9th house, that means your ancestors might be happy with you, might communicate with you, might come to your dreams and show you the path. Now friends, if you will find that the Ketu's dispositor is placed in the 10th house, so this talks more about the detached leader. So that means you bring your past life mastery into the public eye. Karma with this placement is sudden career changes or a lack of interest in fame despite being very successful. And the blessing is your ability to lead with total detachment, making you a fair and incorruptible authority figure. Now, friends, if we have to see with this placement all other verticals, like this talks about that in the past life, native could be like a commander, a public authority, a king kind of lifestyle. The blessing comes in a form of detachment from fame. The obstacle could be there might be certain flavors of the career dissatisfaction, or native might have to deal with the periods of the career dissatisfaction. And the lesson is work without identity attachment. And friends, for these people, the way I say, nature and omens plays a very significant role in putting them in the right places. Like for their ascension in the life, omens plays a very significant role. And the more they are going to be a believer of the omens and try to live their life in harmony, in synchronicity with the flow of the life, better life will treat them. So I always say the whole objective of this discussion is that, see, Ketu individually talks about enlightenment, higher state of consciousness. But when that has happened to you, when that epiphany has happened to you, which area of the life got maximum impacted, that we get to know from the dispositor's placement. So that talks about that just because of the arrival of a guru, or like the major impact of your devotion to sadhana will be felt, will be perceived in a form of your public image. Now, friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor's placement in the 11th house, it talks about the unconventional gainer. Like Ketu's energy flows into your social circle and wealth. Like the karma with this placement is about feeling disconnected from large groups or fake friends. Blessing comes in a form of sudden, unexpected financial gains. This could be from foreign, or this could be from unconventional sources. So friends, if I were to connect it with all other verticals on which we are having discussion, so that means it talks about your past life as fulfilled ambitions already. The blessing comes in a form of freedom from the greed, and the obstacle is limited social hunger. The Nadi insight is desire cycle is closing. So for a very fulfilled kind of personality, this is a supportive placement, like where we say that native is going to be contented with life or the flow of the life, like whatever he's achieving, whatever he is doing. The way we say that the Karam Siddhant given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that he just wants to fulfill his duties, responsibilities, while staying detached of the results at the same time. Now friends, when we talk about Ketu's dispositor's placement in the 12th house, which can be seen as the doorway to moksha. So this is the most natural home for Ketu's energy. The karma over here is about excessive spending or a feeling of being lost in the material world. The blessing comes in a form of the ultimate gift of moksha. You have a thin veil between you and the divine, often experiencing prophetic dreams. So friends, you would have understood the gist of this discussion. If Ketu's placement in your chart tells about your spiritual potential, spiritual quest, spiritual interest, intuitive faculties, so the immediate byproduct of that, like when that epiphany will happen, which specific area of your life will move, for that we have to give attention to the Ketu's dispositor. So in your case, because Ketu's dispositor is placed in the 12th house, it has got more to do with, like, you will see that whenever there are going to be those people around you, those habits or activities around you which is not serving any highest purpose, you will see that suddenly those people and those attachments will dissipate, will go away from your life. So friends, if I were to give a summary of this placement, so from the past life, it talks about a final stage ascetic or a monk. When we talk about the blessing, it talks about natural moksha inclination. When we talk about the obstacle, it talks about the worldly disengagement. And the highest spiritual placement outcome is birth for completion, not for the accumulation. So friends, I'm sure you would have understood the gist of this discussion. Ketu's placement in your natal chart tells about your spiritual potential, but its dispositor tells about that when that enlightenment will happen, when that epiphany will happen. So in which way it will move your life, and what is the strength, dignity, and the intent with which the energy of Ketu is operating. So friends, obviously, as much as Ketu's dasha is important for you, but even in those situations when the Ketu's dispositor will get active in the Mahadasha, in the Antardasha, or if it will get activated by Saturn's transit or Jupiter's transit, those are going to be the times when the past life memories could surface. There is going to be sudden detachment, spiritual awakening, and there will be losses that will liberate you rather than punishing you. And friends, when we talk about remedies, the basic remedies, so we say that forget the superficial remedies. True Ketu remedies are always lifestyle and consciousness based. That means silence, the Maun Vrata we say, service without expecting any credit, letting go of any identity roles, ancestral healing, and chanting the mantras without any expectation. Friends, always remember, because see, if Rahu shows what binds you and Saturn shows what tests you, it's the Ketu's dispositor which shows what you are done with. Like, ignore it if you will ignore it, and the life will still feel confusing. And if you understand it, you will see that karma will become very cooperative. It will not come in the way, it will not torture you, torment you. You will be in synchronicity, in harmony with the flow of your life. Now friends, I have also taken up the screenshot of certain case studies as well. Like for example, even if you will look at the chart of the Bhagwan Shri Raman Maharishi, in his case, because obviously if we are talking about Ketu's dispositor, so the only charts I came up with and I collected were of the saints only. So in the Bhagwan Shri Raman Maharishi's chart, you will see that his Ketu is conjunct with moon in the 9th house. Now comes the question that where the Ketu's dispositor has gone. So Ketu's dispositor has gone to the 2nd house. So see, the kind of feeling of zen which you get from the face of the Bhagwan himself, like who could be a advocate of silence, that kind of tranquility, serenity which you get from the face. So you will not find like people who have Ketu's dispositor in the 2nd house, like people who are going to be very verbose. Like someone like me, where I get the feedback, you talk too much. So they are the advocate of the silence, and they know how to use the right word. They have that like the Vak Siddhi you can see with this kind of placement in Bhagwan Shri Raman Maharishi's chart, observing Ketu's dispositor. Now friends, if you will take up the chart of the Swami Vivekananda, so in the Swami Vivekananda's case, if you will see, in his case, Ketu is placed in the 6th house. Like in his life, he was very much inclined, very disciplined, very rigid when it comes down to the spiritual austerity, and he battled with many health and illnesses related concerns as well. Now where the dispositor of the Ketu has gone? The dispositor of the Ketu has gone to the 2nd house, planet Venus. So again friends, it also talks about that people who have this kind of connection of their dispositor, Ketu's dispositor in the 2nd house, not only it talks about like the value of the Maun, value of the silence, it can give you Vak Siddhi as well. And also generally it has been seen that anything which happens around the 2nd house, it primarily tells about two things. First is about the early childhood environment, and second, it talks about people who are born with a specific mission. Their life purpose, their mission is deeply inculcated in their values. So these people, they don't find it any difficulty in finding their life purpose bit early in the life, like right from their childhood. And especially because here we are talking about Ketu, if your life is aligned with doing something in the spiritual realms and Ketu's dispositor or Ketu himself is sitting in the 2nd house, that awakening, that attainment of life purpose happens bit early in the life. Like these are those people who right from their early childhood days, they knew this thing that I have to become a saint someday, I have to become a yogi someday, I have to become a priest, I have to become a nun someday. They know this thing right from a very early childhood. It's not like that they have to face some crisis in the midlife and then they will take up the spiritual path. That epiphany, awakening, understanding of their life path happens much early in the life. Now friends, when we talk about the Guru Nanak Ji's chart as well, so even Guru Nanak Ji's chart, even if you will give attention to the 10th house, see in his case, moon is exalted in the 10th house and it is conjunct with Saturn. So we generally say like people who are like who have this capacity to move the masses, major massive mass movements generally happens either from the moon or from the Saturn. And even if you will look at Ketu's placement, that too in the 11th house, we generally say like Ketu in the 11th house is like nature or the cosmos. Nature picks you, choose you. I always use this word with Ketu that these are the chosen one. These are the chosen one that we get to know with this kind of placement. And again friends, Ketu's dispositor is placed in the 4th house. So masses, mother, early childhood environment, family environment would have played a very significant role for the saintly person he end up becoming, or the way he has like enlightened and educated the whole masses. Now friends, the next chart is of the Ramakrishna Paramhansa. In the chart of the Ramakrishna Paramhansa as well, who is a very strong like Aquarius, Kumbh or a Satbhisha native, who actually honors the spiritual potential and qualities of the Sadbhisha, healing potential, and the philosophical qualities of the Aquarius, the spiritual qualities of the Aquarius. So in his case, his Ketu is placed in the 4th house and the dispositor of Ketu is exalted in the 2nd house. Like generally this is kind of a placement where the native tend to remain a devotee of a feminine goddess. And it also talks about like the way we say that the Vak Siddhi, power of the Mona, like silence, that comes automatically to someone who has got this kind of connection of Ketu's dispositor with these kind of specific houses. So okay friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. If this video has resonated with you, you have got some information which has helped you, please like the video, share the video, subscribe the channel. And also friends, based on the explanation given by me, how much is getting valid in your own natal chart, with your life journey, with your intuitive faculties, with your experience with the nature and the cosmos. So your experiences, share that in the comment section. It's a research platform. We all learn from each other. So okay friends, for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.